As the sun set over ancient Alexandria, a city teeming with life and learning, the whispers began to circulate like ripples on a calm sea. A king, a conqueror of empires, had fallen. Alexander the Great, whose name would forever be etched in the annals of history, had succumbed to his mortal fate. The question on every tongue was not how, but why. How could this have happened? The man who had conquered the known world, who had stretched the boundaries of human achievement, had been reduced to a mere mortal, his life cut short by the hand of fate, or perhaps by the hand of another. The city was awash with theories, each one more outlandly fantastical than the last. Some claimed he had been poisoned, his enemies seeking to bring him down with a cup of hemlock. Others whispered that it was a fever, some sort of plague, that had consumed him. But what if neither of these theories was true? What if there were other forces at play, hidden motivations that lay just beneath the surface? In this, a city of learning and discovery, the truth was waiting to be unearthed, and it would take a detective with the keenest of minds to unravel the web. My name is Emily, and am that detective. For the past year I've been poring over the ancient texts, studying every scrap of information I can find on Alexander's final days, and what I've discovered has left me with more questions than answers. It's time to take a closer look. The day Alexander fell ill, his physicians were summoned to the palace. They arrived in a state of panic, their faces ashen with worry. Alexander, lying on his bed of gold, had complained to his attendants of a headache and fever. The physicians examined him, their hands probing his skin for signs of inflammation or infection. But as the hours passed, Alexander's condition only worsened. His body began to shake and tremble, his eyes rolling back in their sockets. I had read about this day in the accounts of Alexander's final hours. The descriptions were sketchy at best, but one thing was clear: something had been amiss. The question was what? I spent the next few days poring over every available account of Alexander's final days. I talked to the palace staff who had been present when Alexander fell ill. I pored over the medical texts of that time, searching for any mention of a disease or poison that could have caused Alexander's rapid decline. And I talked to the philosophers who had been present at the palace during those fateful days. One philosopher in particular caught my attention. His name was Aristotle, and he had been a close friend and adviser to Alexander. I found him in his chambers, surrounded by scrolls and books. He looked up at me as I entered, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "What brings you here, detective?" he asked. I took a seat, trying to appear nonchalant. "I'm investigating the circumstances of Alexander's death," I said. "I've been poring over the accounts, but am not getting anywhere. Can you help me?" Aristotle's expression turned thoughtful. Alexander's death was a mystery even to those who knew him best. I was there that day, but even I can't understand what was happening. I leaned forward. "Tell me more," I said. Aristotle nodded. Alexander was always a man of passion and energy. He was a whirlwind of activity, always pushing himself to new heights. But on that day he was different. He seemed. I felt a shiver run down my spine. "Tired of the world," I repeated. "That's a strange thing for Alexander to say. What do you think he meant by that?" Aristotle shrugged. "I don't know, detective. But I do know that Alexander's death was not just a natural occurrence. There was something that did sit right with me." I thanked Aristotle for his time and left my mind racing with possibilities. I knew that the key to unlocking Alexander's final days lay in the palace, but where to look? And what secrets lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? As I walked through the city, lost in